I've always wanted to find love and get married and have a family. That's a huge part of who I am. During the build of this tiny home, I would record myself to share with my future husband and be like, hey, today I just finished putting the insulation under the bottom. Thinking of you. See you in the future. Around the time this tiny home was close to being finished, it was February 2024, I met my husband Gabriel online. It was just like talking to an old friend. It was perfect, the timing, because he was able to come and visit and stay in the tiny home. It's like a guest home for him, and I just stayed in the house with my family in my old bedroom. We were able to spend a lot of time just getting to know my family, so that was really awesome. When we were still talking on the phone before he came to visit me in Maine, I said, I built a tiny home, and he said that he did too. He built a little tiny home, so that was something we had in common. One of the many things that we had in common. Hello, I'm Rebecca. This is my DIY tiny home. We are in beautiful Down East, Maine. This is a completely DIY project. I built it pretty much myself. I did have help from my wonderful family and a couple local people like an electrician and a roofer, but a lot of it I just took on myself and learned as I went. I had a little bit of experience just helping my dad with projects on the homestead, building small stuff. So I knew a little bit of carpentry and the name of certain tools. It is 24 foot by 8.5 feet. I wanted that little extra half foot to be comfortable. So it's not super large, but just enough for 1 or 2 people. I started when I turned 21, so that would have been 2022. And then I finished in the spring of 2024, so 3 years. I got the trailer from Tiny Home Basics. The business owner is Joshua in California. They were really great, awesome customer service. And I'll show you inside the tiny home. So welcome to my tiny home. The square footage is about 200 square feet. Some of my design goals when building this was flow of movement. I did not want people to feel cramped when they came in here. So big open ceiling, lots of light and windows. Some of the goals for the style and look was colonial Dutch, cottagecore, maybe Mediterranean a little bit. Those styles really appeal to me. So behind me is the living space. I have obviously the big gorgeous picture window, so letting a lot of light. I love to read and do artwork. I will sit here and do a lot of sketches, a lot of reading. Or when I have the family come in for a meal, everybody will sit around the table, so really easy just to sit down when you come in. I have a coat rack and lots of storage up there. Storage underneath the cushions as well. I love this space. I love sitting in the sun in the picture windows in the mornings. I would make a breakfast, have friends or family come over and just hang out, or I'd serve them like tea and biscuits. Transitioning from the living room to the kitchen is the wood stove, which I think is absolutely adorable. I got it from a company that makes stoves for boats actually. It's a marine stove, which fits really well for the Maine environment. I needed an extra heat source in addition to the Rinnai propane heater. So I knew how efficient wood stoves are because we already have a wood stove in my parents' house. So I'll just collect wood from outside. Maine is abundant in wood. I have like a spot underneath where I can easily grab wood and put it in there, and it does a really good job of keeping the space warm. I would recommend having fans above it somewhere, or having one of those fans that spins on the top from the heat to distribute that air, because sometimes they can get too cozy in here. So having good airflow, ventilation is important. I really loved that brick look. These are not real bricks. They're just clay slats that I ordered online. I just glued them literally to the wall wherever I wanted them. They're really easy to break apart, so that was nice for the little edges. I could break them into size like around here. and then just put grout in between them and then just dry brushed it with some paint to make it look worn. I love how they came out. Currently, I live in North Carolina with my husband and son, and we're coming to Maine to visit. I used to live in this tiny home. My parents were really big on lifestyles that broke away from society and just having individual freedom. That looks like homesteading, homeschooling, and sailing was a dream that both my parents had for a little while. That's what made us come here. It's the cheapest place to sail on the East Coast. Took a sailing class, that was really fun. There's also a big art community here, which really appealed to me because I'm an artist. I've illustrated a couple of children's books. When I was 13, my dad watched with me a tiny home documentary, and I thought it was the coolest thing. There was this couple, and they went on the journey of building a tiny home. When I became an adult, I was looking at alternative living styles. I knew if I didn't build a tiny home, I would regret it. It was something I always wanted to do. Growing up, I would sketch layouts or just do paintings of what I wanted my future tiny home to look like. And so when I started on this project, I referred back to my old sketches that I did as a teenager. It was on my 21st birthday. Told my family, hey, I'm gonna use all that I got in savings to get this tiny home trailer and just start on the project and see where it takes me. However long that may be, I'm just gonna get started. My family is always really supportive and encouraging. My parents have always encouraged me, my sister and brother to pursue whatever it is we felt a calling to, whatever our heart's desire was. So when I said I want to have some of my own space, start living on my own, building a tiny home, they were super supportive of that because it fit into the ideals of breaking away from society and being free to do whatever you feel called to do, I guess. Moving into the center of the home is the kitchen, and the feature that I really love is this porcelain farmhouse sink. The faucets and glass bottles I got on eBay. I love baking, so I wanted not just a range, I also wanted an oven. So this is just a little propane oven that I got online as well. I'm all about aesthetics, so it was white, and I took it all apart and spray painted it with heat-resistant black paint. And then I painted this design with the copper paint just to make it more aesthetically pleasing. But it does really well baking, actually, and I was surprised. The countertops is local cedar wood, and I didn't lacquer them at all. I love the butcher block look, but I couldn't afford a butcher block, so I just put cedar wood planks down and stained them. This was the first drawer I made, and it has never stayed. I don't know why. But this is a little spice drawer that I made myself. That was a fun challenge to make all of the levels and the drawer work. And then a little broom closet. Used to have coats and dresses in here. In here I still have a cooler, but I wanted a big space here to store a cooler because I didn't have space for a freezer. I just have this little fridge. So I thought investing in like a high quality cooler might give me some more room to store food. But speaking of the fridge, I just got this little mini fridge. It does pretty good, but it was silver before and then I just spray painted them copper. So I definitely learned along this journey how to make things look how I wanted them to look. The power of spray paint. I was really concerned about weight. I did 16-inch on center rather than 20-inch on center. So I was using more wood in the frame. So I knew that would be a lot of weight. I have the wood stove, that big oak door, the big glass window. This is local wood too. So I didn't want a big heavy fridge. And I figured since it was just me, I would be able to fit what I wanted into the mini fridge. I think if I were to do it again, I might invest in a higher quality fridge, maybe something bigger. I put a hook here to hang like herbs and spices, and open shelves to make that feel more open, easier to grab to. I like this extra counter space too. I called it the baking place. I called this window the pie window, so if I made a pie, I could put it next to the window to cool down. I thought that was just really charming. I have a conscious of where I put outlets for cooking appliances. So the kitchen does flow pretty well for like 1 or 2 people.
I was shocked when I saw how much our subscriptions have crept up. They add up so quickly and can quietly increase over time. Thankfully, I was able to catch it thanks to the Monarch app. Monarch is your private personal money command center, built to make your financial life feel calm, clear, and totally under control, all with no ads or data selling. It has a clean dashboard that shows all your accounts, spending, net worth, debt payoff progress, and reoccurring bills in a single, beautiful view with an intuitive experience on both the web and mobile. Enjoy a fast, secure setup that syncs with all major banks, credit cards, and brokerages. With Monarch's flexible budgeting tools, you can create customizable rules and categories to keep everything organized without rigidity. It's incredibly helpful that it automatically spots reoccurring charges and price increases. I had no idea that our subscriptions had crept up to over $400 a month until Monarch showed me all our reoccurring charges in one place. Get 50% off your first year by scanning the QR code on the screen or clicking our link below. Or use our discount code TINY50 when signing up for a free trial.
So step now into the bathroom. It's a fairly spacious bathroom as far as tiny homes go. I got this porcelain sink that I got on eBay, and I drilled out a hole to make it a sink so that this was actually a bowl, and I made it a sink. And a composting toilet, so I didn't have to worry too much about plumbing. I just would compost it in my parents' compost here on the homestead. And then a nice big shower, which I think came out really nice. My sister helped me put it together. Like I mentioned before, I was always like thinking and praying about my husband. As I made the shower, I was thinking he might be taller than me, so I might want to give him a few extra inches. Of course, that goes into how much headspace I have in the loft. So it was a balance between how much headspace I had in the shower or in the loft. But the shower was a little bit tricky. I couldn't find a prefabricated shower that fitted this space because I had already built the space and then I started to work on the shower. That is one thing I would do different, is bring in the shower first, especially if you're going to do a prefabricated one. So I just had to build the shower myself with the space that I already had made. So the back is hardy board, and then I got this vinyl tongue and groove that kind of locked together. I had to do the ceiling because I didn't want that moisture going up into the loft. So that was kind of tricky, but it came out really nice. I'm really happy with the shower. And I just got the shower base that would fit. A lot of searching online for specific products with specific dimensions. I think the only thing I would change was this porcelain bowl. It's a bowl, it's not a sink. So a lot of water splashes out of it, but it looks nice, and I'm all about aesthetics and being pleasing to the eye. I'm happy with how this bathroom came out. So this little window I made myself. I got confident after making the front door. It was just some leftover oak, and I just grabbed this piece of glass from the old buildings on the property from a broken window because I wanted to recycle. Tiny home people tend to be really into recycling and being eco-friendly. So yeah, I just made that window myself. I saw another woman that she built a tiny home, and she had a window in front of the vanity rather than a mirror. And I thought that was really intentional because she didn't want to look at herself, she wanted to look outside. So I did have a little mirror here just to look at yourself if you needed to. So I would like to mention my stairs and the railing. The stairs are rather unorthodox, but I was okay with that because I figured it would just be me living in the tiny home at the time, and I knew that I was comfortable with climbing and scrambling. And I wanted this space for other things, so that's why I squeezed the stairs. But the railing is a branch that I found. I love that look, using the natural branches from the area. And I just cut it to size and stained it, and then connected it with another branch up there that I found. So it came out really nice. It's pretty sturdy. There's a lot of screws going up in there. And now we'll check out the loft. So this is the bedroom loft. I wanted to be able to fit a nice size bed in here. I wanted to be able to not stand, but you can see I'm crouching pretty comfortably. Before, I used to have baskets of my clothing, so I'd kind of be able to get dressed in here if I needed to. And the skylight, I not only wanted a skylight because I had always been in a bedroom with a skylight and to keep that trend going, but also it's a good escape just in case. In the vent, there was extra space, so I have a little cubby. I would put secret treasures. So utilizing every square inch, which I think is really important when building a tiny home. I loved waking up in here and looking out at the tiny home that I had made and seeing the morning sun come through, or when I would go to bed and look out the windows at the sheep that my family has. I spent many hours up here talking to my future husband when we were getting to know each other on the phone. So this is like a really special spot for me, this little bedroom area. Even now, when I'm sitting here and looking out at the house, I can't believe that I built it, and it's just super rewarding. I am so extremely grateful to have the opportunity to build it, and my family, they all were just so supportive, and now I have this beautiful tiny home to bless somebody else with in their season of life, and it's just going to keep being passed on. Because I built the tiny home doesn't mean that I have to live in it. I only lived in it very briefly, but it taught me so much, and now I'm starting my own family, and it's going to be passed on to somebody else for them to start their tiny home adventure. So just all around really grateful, and it's fulfilled what it needed to in my life, and now it's going on to somebody else. The whole build was a challenge. I didn't realize how much I had put on myself until I got to every step of the project. It was like, oh wait, I'm gonna need to learn how to do plumbing. I'm gonna need to learn how to do insulation. But I really did love it. I love to learn. When you are learning something on your own, you're also kind of getting to know yourself. You're growing, definitely. This whole build was a huge growing and learning experience for me. It was a test of faith. There were days where I didn't know if I would have the funding to do the next step. I didn't know when I would finish. It was just a leap of faith, really. My dad was super supportive. Both my parents are. They're awesome parents. He let me use all of his tools, but he would just kind of come and share his experience. If I was having a rough day, he would lend a hand. He helped me put the floorboards in. Everywhere I look in the tiny home, I can recall somewhere where a family member helped me. Like my brother helped me put in that big picture window. My mom helped me paint. I learned so much, a lot of faith, a lot of perseverance, a lot of humility, knowing when to ask for help. Something that I learned was you can't waste time as long as you're always making an effort. Cost for this tiny home came to roughly $45,000, and that's including everything from the trailer up to the roof. I try to balance having quality as well as not bursting my budget. But I would also invest in things that made me happy, like the farmhouse porcelain sink. I really love that. I think that's just really charming. That was like $200, but you could absolutely get like a stainless steel sink that's just like at the dump, you know? So this tiny home is actually being sold to another lovely lady. It's going to be a home for her now. So that's really a blessing for me, that it's being passed on to somebody that also will appreciate it. I made this tiny home as a single person. I made it mostly what fit me in that season of life. Maybe I would bring my spouse into here, but we moved to North Carolina after the wedding and we're starting our own family now. So it's not really made for a large family. I know that some families do live in tiny homes. It fits them a little bit better. This definitely served in its season, and now it's going to be a blessing to somebody else in whatever season that they are in.
Thanks for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is our DIY tiny house on our homestead in Oregon.
Looking for more tiny inspiration? Watch these videos. But if you're looking for something specific, visit our channel homepage to browse tiny homes by category.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Hope to see you soon.